You don't answer that calling, you're going to be fighting a spiritual battle. Keep the applause going for me, Torch.
Amen.
This brother is an angel as far as I'm concerned. He's a gift to the people, to the community, to the diaspora. I met him in person. I recently told this story when I was in Ghana. Have been following this man for quite some time, just really aware of his work, the work he's doing in the Congo, the work he's done in Jamaica, the work he's been doing all around the world, and just been wanting to support him, repost some of the things he posts when we see some of the atrocities that's happening over in the Congo. He's a social entrepreneur, if you will. He's an activist, if you will. He's one of the founders of I Heart Africa. Mm-hmm. Right, if you will, give that man a round of applause, which is a charity to promote holistic, self-sustainable development in Africa and its diaspora. He's an inspiration, man. I feel like he's the type of person that kids can aspire to be like. He's concerned about living beings, whether it's humans or animals.
Or plants.
Or plants. You know, his presence is divine. When he walked in the room, you could feel his energy. Ain't nothing but goodness coming out of his pores have to be. Everything he eat come from the earth. He grows it himself.
I love it.
I've seen this man. He built schools for kids who were without. He built homes for people who were without. Orphans who were left abandoned. He built safe spaces for them in the middle of a war-torn country that the world seems to ignore. No matter how many postings, how much information, how many headlines you see, the world tends to ignore what happens in the Congo in different places in Africa. And this man has been on his soapbox, and he does it with so much calmness and serenity. I know he's at peace. I'm glad I got a chance to meet this man in person in Ghana. That was a transformative experience for me, and we've been keeping in touch ever since. And just to say, hey, man, won't you come up to the show? And he be able to do it fresh out of Thailand. Please welcome Chakabars. Woo! To the show. Chakabars!
Welcome.
How is everybody?
Well.
Doing well, man. I want to do this to the citizens. Chakabars does not have a hit record. He's not the star of any blockbuster movie. He's not a social media influencer, but he's a very important person that you may not know that I want you to know. If you're interested in the upliftment of humanity, this man has found a way to exist in this matrix we call society and do it in a very natural way. Give him a call. Let's find out how he did this. Chakabars, let's start with this. Assume that I'm someone who doesn't know you, right? And you've been doing all this amazing work and helping all of these different people from different communities all over the world. How would you explain? Who are you and what is it that you do?
I've gone through many phases. Now I would say I'm in my development phase.
Okay.
Because we need to be able to develop the society that we want to live in, or the society that we're living in order for us to be able to be the authors of our own destiny, right? So rather than try to do things where I make the things about me, which is what a lot of people do who have a platform, I make the things about building community. And I would say I'm really just trying to pay homage to some of our late great ancestors who have been doing this work, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You know, there's already people who've been doing this for a long time. And I was raised Rasta, but I was also raised being Rasta. I was raised as a Pan-African. And
break down what a Pan-African is for those who don't know.
So is us everywhere, you know, like wherever the sun shines is us. And we have more in common with each other than we do that sets us apart. And what Pan-Africans believe is that we need to be able to lead the world again so that the world can have peace again. So whether it is people in Haiti or Brazil, whether it's people in Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Congo, whether it is people in North America or Panama, Colombia, is all of us need to be working together. And it's us everywhere, you know, whether or not, you know, you have this whole movement, which is kind of like another divide and conquer thing, trying to say that, you know, we ain't like them, we ain't African. It doesn't make any sense. If you have Afro hair, as far as I'm concerned, you're my brother or my sister.
Yeah.
And we're all catching hell wherever we are around the world. And it would make sense for us to work together so that we can stop catching as much hell and we can get back to having respect. So Marcus Garvey was one of the first Pan-Africanists.
Mm-hmm.
And also, interestingly enough, Marcus Garvey was one of the richest black men that existed in North America at the time. He came from Jamaica, but then he had like, he created the Universal Negro Improvement, UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. And when he created that, he basically created a movement across North America, the Caribbean, Europe, where we were like, well, it's us everywhere, we need to work together. And then the leaders in Africa actually took that as inspiration. Like the reason why there's a black star in the flag of Ghana is because of Marcus Garvey's Black Star Liner. So I believe that in order for us to be able to have peace and have respect, we need to do some work. And as a Pan-Africanist, I believe that we need to do it together. So all of the stuff that I've been doing for years now is just trying to create that unity and build schools, orphanage, hospital, agricultural development projects in different places, because eventually all of these places are going to be trading with each other and communicating with each other, because it's like, if all of the resources live in Africa, forget Africa. If all of the resources live in the global south, if all of the resources live where melanated people live, then why are we broke?
Yeah. Chakabars is here. You are... Yeah, so much I want to ask you.
Right.
When you talk about the I don't want to go to the divide. Let's go to the Congo, where you're right now. You're pretty primarily based out of the Congo. Would you say that, or?
Well, I've been Ghana as well.
Ghana as well.
Predominantly Ghana, because Ghana is the Pan-African center of Africa, really. Like,
okay.
If you look at what Nkrumah did to set it up, everybody's going there right now to party. But I already built a school there some years ago, and I've been speaking with Kyrie, Lenny Kravitz, a few other amazing brothers about building the future school there. So that's really a place where you can do whatever you want to do, because there's peace there. But right now, the main work that I'm doing is actually in Congo, like as in the main building work. The school in Ghana is going to come forward soon.
I've seen postings of you. And you said this because we were trying to work out this time to have Chakabars on the show. And it kind of didn't feel like it was going to happen because of the flight, and he was coming from out of the country. And so I suggested, hey, man, maybe next time it'll be a lot easier and just come up. We could do it more relaxed. And you said to me, you know, I'm going back to the Congo. I don't know if there'll be a next time. You know, and that's why I was like, let's make sure we make it happen. I never thought about every day you're there, your life is on the line, right? Is it like that? What is a day like when you're in that community?
It's not the whole of Congo, but
okay.
The east of Congo, where the east and the southeast, where all of these minerals are coming from for the tech industry, which is an industry that is only creating more and more demand, is like the Wild Wild West right now. It's essentially a dysfunctional police state, and it is being funded by foreign multinationals. And as much as, you know, we have this great idea of what is going on in Rwanda because of the marketing around that, what is going on in the country next door in Congo is like stuff I've never seen before, bro.
Like what?
Like where I built the houses, because we went into a camp. So first of all, the area that we work in, there's 8 volcanoes, right? 5 of them are active. And we raised some money because there was a volcano eruption in 2021, in May 2021, which displaced 400,000 people because the volcano erupted, the lava came down, wiped out a bunch of people's houses. And we said, all right, cool, we're going to help them to build back their houses because they lost their houses. I can't build 400,000 houses,
Yeah.
right? But I was like, let me build something. Let me go and do something. And while I was there, I saw huge. They're called IDP camps, internally displaced person camps, but essentially they're just like refugee camps, right?
Right.
I saw huge refugee camps, and in these refugee camps, there's no running water, there's no sanitation, people are starving to death, right? And this is in the richest country in the world. Congo has, it is estimated $24 trillion of mineral wealth in the ground, right?
Trillion dollars.
Trillion.
Dollars.
And it's one of the only places on earth that is able to have a replenishing mineral wealth because of the way that the tectonic plates sit and the way that there's all of these minerals always coming up from through the volcanoes, right? And so I'm there in this camp, and you know, we're looking and seeing what the major charities are doing. When the volcano erupted, everybody ran across the border to Rwanda and left the people, right? So whatever anybody wants to say about these charities, they're doing good work, you pay your $1 a month or whatever you pay, they abandoned the people, right? So we went there and we saw exactly what was going on, and we said, let's try and build something. In these camps, there were lots of children, and children who parents had been lost because of the volcano, but also a bigger problem that the children whose parents have been murdered for this white man green tech energy revolution, right? So we adopted some of those kids and we've built them a village, and in the village is a very beautiful village. We've put artwork of our heroes on the village, and shout out to the bunch of people who helped me to do it. Kyrie Irving was a big supporter.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz was a big supporter. So was Cara Delevingne, Bella Hadid, Kalani, bunch of cool people.
Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah. Maya, Kerry Hilson, bunch of cool people helped me to do that. And we've done it. And so, you know, I'm going back there to make sure everything is okay. And we are creating a sustainable investment, which will then provide funding for the kids to go to school, to pay for their food, and transition them out of this kind of welfare situation into their own economy. But, and this is a big but, right now there is a green tech energy revolution, and cars in Europe, I don't know about North America, but in Europe, they're saying that they're going to be all green energy cars by 2035, right? Right now there is, the demand is around 150,000 tons of cobalt per year coming out of the Congo. I got a video I can show you where there's a queue at the border, and there are so many trucks it takes a week for them to get through. That's how much stuff that they're exporting.
They're exporting that much?
Every single day. The queue never ends, right? There's so many trucks. And the reason why is because Congo has this high grade cobalt which is needed for all of these this tech industry. And so when I'm watching like movies like Black Panther, and I'm seeing the vibranium, and I'm watching movies like Avatar, and I'm seeing how people love these stories, I'm like, so why does everybody forget about Congo? Like Black Panther had premieres all around the world and didn't have one in Congo. And so I was confused at that. But it seems like Malcolm X said that Africa is shaped like a gun and Congo is the trigger. And until we are able to organize the resources of Congo for the African people, for the Congolese people first, and then the African people in general, we're never going to have any money. Every single other ethnic group in the world is in Congo making money and exploiting people. One of the things that startled me is the way that the water is being poisoned. So now babies are being born with birth defects, because if you like most modern green energy cars, they have a NMC system, a nickel manganese cobalt system, right? And if you look at just the waste from nickel alone, right, of which Congo also produces, every single time that there is a car that is being produced, there are 50 tons of waste from that car that is sulfuric acid producing waste, right? If you take a ton of the waste, there's going to be 9% in that ton. There's going to be 9% of sulfur, and sulfur, when it mixes with air and it mixes with water, is going to cause 300 kilos of concentrated sulfuric acid, right? From every single ton. It takes 50 tons to produce one car, one battery for one car, right? And this is now completely destroying the Congo, completely destroying the water, completely destroying, like, bro, there's places where it used to be jungle and now it's desert.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the problem with this green energy revolution. Wherever you see, these Musk and Gates and all of these people who want to appear like they're pioneers in their industry and they're innovators.
Elon Musk,
Yeah,
Bill
Bill
Gates.
Gates.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Bezos, all of the most rich, Europeans that exist right now. I mean, apart from the fact that the reason why Musk is rich anyway is because his dad acquired half of a emerald mine in Zambia, and that's how he became a billionaire.
Africa.
In Africa,
Yeah.
right? When you look at these people, they are, they have great marketing campaigns, and they stand on the stage and they say, we're going to bring you this new technology and it's going to be great. The problem with capitalism is it hides its deficits. So, all right, cool. You've made, however many $1 billion of profit, and you've made all of these tech innovations leap forward, but you've destroyed a whole rainforest.
Yeah.
So at the same time as you destroyed a rainforest, you destroyed a people. And where I built the homes, I'm going back to what I said originally, where I built the homes, that's a mass grave, bro. Like 6 million people died there.
Wow.
So I'm standing on a hill,
Yeah.
right, and I'm looking at the floor around me, and there's bullet casings, there's bones, like I'm standing on that stuff. And this is also that profit margins can be created, and this is also that this revolution that can be created, because the term smartphone was coined in 1996. They invaded Congo in 1996, and since then there's been a annual increase of the need for taking minerals out of these places. When these people are mining this stuff, there's no PPE, there's no protective equipment. Like, they are breathing in radon. It's causing them cancer. They're dying from that. There's children in these mines that are mining this stuff as young as 4 or 5 years old.
Oh my God.
They're dying in the mines. Like, the mines are collapsing. Now there's 19, I'd say there's 19 major, in a province called Katanga. There's 19 major factories. Same factories, mines. There's 19 major mines. 15 of them are owned by the Chinese. But how did the Chinese get the mines? Because they made corrupt contracts with the government, and the government and all of this stuff is being fueled by the USA. It's being fueled by the UK. So anytime anybody wants to say, oh, that's over there, I don't really get any of that stuff. Let's just look at 1960. After, from 1885 to 1908, Leopold ruled the Congo.
Oh my God!
Right, from 1908 to 1960, the Belgian government ruled the Congo. 1960, Lumumba came in, who was mentored by Kwame Nkrumah. 1961, he was out and he was murdered, and then a dictator was installed in his place for 30 years. Right, and the USA paid $100,000, which is around $1 million in today's money, to have the leader of Congo murdered. Why? Because everybody's getting hype about this. You heard this Oppenheimer movie, right?
Right.
There is no, all of these rocks that I'm telling you about, cobalt, coltan, wolframite, tungsten, they're all locked in together, and in there is uranium, and in there is plutonium as well. So the only reason why America was able to have a nuclear bomb is because they were able to keep getting minerals out of Congo. These minerals don't come from anywhere else. So if you're talking about nuclear powers, nuclear superpowers, then you're talking about minerals from Congo. So it all leads back to this heart chakra of Africa. And that's why I called my organization I Heart Africa, because it's the same thing.
Wow. Chakabars is here. This is so informative. I want to come back. I want to play some music. How can people in America help? I want to talk about that. Like, it just, when you hear the stories, if you're not well versed, if you haven't been following, people listening right now, I'm shocked and appalled.
Yeah.
But also, they probably want to help and get involved in any way they could. Let's talk about that when we come back, all right? Chakabars is here. If y'all want to follow him at Chakabars on Instagram, CHAKABARS. Sway in the Morning, Shade 45. We have Chakabars here. Shaka is an activist, social entrepreneur. Developed a series of businesses, including Fruits and Roots. He's doing powerful work on behalf of the diaspora. He's gone to various places, built education centers, built community centers, built food centers. You know, these are the steps we have to take anyway as a people to create our own nations, our own foundations. It's about building and owning our own institutions. That way we'll be able to properly supply our people with the necessities of life, and this is what he's doing. But he's not able to get a whole lot of. It's been some amazing people that have helped. But Heather, he hasn't been able to talk about this on a whole lot of platforms.
Isn't that something?
Right?
Isn't that something?
Yeah. And so we're talking about just what's taking place in the Congo, the mining, the deaths, the raping, the pillage of the land of the continent of Africa. How many people have their hands, their stakes, their investments in Africa, but aren't paying back Africa? You know, that mining in the Congo, you say they mine up to 3.4 million metric tons, or what was it?
It's 150,000 tons a year.
A year, right? $24 trillion worth of minerals leave that continent, and how much of that money gets paid back to the local community?
So the way that the system is working is, for each ton of cobalt mined, it gets around it's worth around $70,000 for each ton, and the local people are paid maybe 1% of that, if that, for that, and then it leaves. Once it leaves, once you take this product and you turn it into a phone, you've now increased the value of it by 10,000, right? And that's the problem with what goes on in Africa, is there's not as much manufacturing, and we are seen as a breadbasket of resources where people take raw materials, and we don't own a lot of the raw materials that are leaving. Then those raw materials are taken to the second stage of the secondary economy, which is manufacturing, and then they're taken to the tertiary economy, which is goods and services. By the time it gets to goods and services, it's worth so much more than the original thing that was mined by the people. And this is things that need to stop, or things that need to change. Personally, the reason why I even started this organization was so that I could create group economics, so that I could get the diaspora. Because if you look at like China, for instance, right?
Yeah.
China's developed very, very rapidly, and you can see where China is on the global stage. China's developed very, very rapidly, but between 1970 and 1990, 25 billion was sent to China from its diaspora, right? And then 25 billion was used in China to develop China. So 50% of the energy that developed China to where it is now came from the diaspora, right? They're going into Africa, they're going into everywhere else, and they're starting businesses. Like, there's Chinese stores all over New York. They're sending money back to China, bro.
Right.
And it's like, why is it that we continue to disassociate ourselves from Africa when actually we should be developing Africa? We should be having our own mines with protective equipment, with pensions, with healthcare, with schools, etc., and we should be having our own factories manufacturing this stuff, so that the rest of the world has to engage with us in respect. Because this whole free market thing is a lie. It doesn't exist. How is it a free market if it's a slave market that's dictated by outside of Africa?
There you go. Chakabars. I'm loving this conversation. I know you brought gifts, and I want to let Tracy and Heather jump in too. What did you bring me here, brother?
All right, so I brought you this. This is what we smell. It's like a menthol compound. It was what we smell when we're doing boxing in Thailand. It opens up your mind. Yeah, I thought, you're here in New York, like you need to.
I need to snap out of it.
Clear.
Yeah, plus I'll be boxing. So.
Right.
You want to give some to Terrence Crawford?
Terrence Crawford coming here today. I might offer him some.
He's coming?
Yeah, he's coming today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He's a great boxer.
Yeah.
CMOS. Great for you.
Yeah, CMOS
capsules.
Thank you, Tracy, for helping me. Okay.
I'm not helping.
Yeah, Heather ain't helping.
Sage.
I got some sage. I need to burn some of that right now in this room, to be quite honest.
Around yourself.
You right.
Hello.
Beautiful.
Organic mango.
That sage is great. Is
And-
this the same mango tree that you when I was in Ghana you brought me that mango?
No, a different one.
You
But
remember?
you remember that one?
Man, I was eating the mango in front of everybody. I was mangoed out.
We was in the venue eating the mango.
Messy.
And this book is by Sheikh Anta Diop, and it's called Pre-Colonial Black Africa. And it basically gives you an idea. Because the thing is where Africa is now and the marketing that's been done, that's not been done by Africans, but it's been done by aliens to Africa, about Africa, tells us a story of despair, a story of poverty, a story of no hope. And when you read books like this, you get to see what was going on before the colonizers came in. So it gives you an idea of what could be possible, because like our late great leader, Dr. Layla Africa, Dr. Africa, who's one of the greatest authors in holistic health, he said, we weren't watching what white folk was doing when we were building pyramids, so why are we still watching what they're doing now? And that makes me think, well, actually we are enough, you know?
Yeah.
So this book shows you what was going on before, so that you can at least have some hope, because I don't want to come here with all despair, you know?
No. This is amazing, man. Thank you,
Beautiful.
man. Chakabars just bought me gifts. You see this? Look at Kalani, my nephew over there. Is like, can I get something? All right, Kalani, you got a
want to be
question?
your mentee.
You got a question, Kalani?
Yeah, I do have a question, and it's I'm gonna touch on partly some of the stuff that we were talking about outside, but we hear a lot about like the pillaging and the robbery of Africa, but right now I would say Africa's on the rise, and they're in terms of like revolution, and for people that were unaware, I wanted to ask you about some of the things that are going on in Africa, like in South Africa or Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali.
A lot is going on right now, and it is great that we have phones that we can witness what is going on right now. Because before, when revolutions were happening in Africa, people weren't able to see it the way that they're able to see it now. And that's what are you familiar with something called COINTELPRO?
Yeah.
COINTELPRO, okay. So the main reasons why COINTELPRO was started was to stop the rise of a black nation in North America, because you guys are enough to run the country if you was organized, right?
What is COINTELPRO?
COINTELPRO was started by J. Edgar Hoover, who was the light-skinned sellout of the FBI.
Right.
And COINTELPRO was essentially started to destroy Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
And they destroyed him. It was then used to try to destroy revolutionary leaders like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and the MOVE organization, the Black Panthers, etc., etc. And the main three agendas for, or the main three objectives for the COINTELPRO government-funded, paid by taxes, initiative was to stop the rise of a black nation in North America. It was to stop the rise of a black messiah. That's why they killed Malcolm, they killed Martin, etc. And it was also to stop the communication between black Americans and black Africans because of how much money that the US, or how much gold the USA government was taking out of South Africa, right? And so what I see now happening in Africa is it's seemingly revolutionary, and anything that, you know, all revolution is change. Anything that is change is revolution. But the problem a lot of the time with these revolutions is they become pseudo revolutions once the people who overthrow the government then become the government, because they don't know how to run a country, right? So people who are soldiers shouldn't usually, go and take out the colonial rulership, right? But then you are not going to be able to be the leader of that country because you haven't studied economics, you haven't studied a bunch of things that allows you to be able to run a country. So what is going on is the rise, I think, of a collective consciousness where it's like, no, we've had enough now, and we've seen enough so that we know we can do for ourselves. But also it needs, at the time that these happen, and there's great leaders in Africa who are well versed in and specialized in economics, in technologies, in agriculture, etc. They're the people that these people who are overthrowing these colonial governments need to then hand the mantle to and say, yo, we did our work with the army. If you need us, we're here. You run the country. But what's happening in Niger, as far as I'm aware, is they're trying to get rid of French colonial rulership. At the same time as they're trying to get rid of French colonial rulership in Niger, this same France that said to Russia that they were bad for invading Ukraine is the same France who's ready to re-invade and try and take over Niger for the uranium. And it's just like the hypocrisy is crazy.
2023.
In 2023, they literally saying we are ready to re-invade Niger because we want uranium. I think that the world is watching what is happening, and I would hope that there is some leadership to create a united state of Africa, right? If there's a united state of America, right? And we know that America doesn't have anywhere near as many resources as Africa. There's 1.2 billion people in Africa, and there needs to be United States of Africa. And that is what all of our leaders who have come before us have said. They need a United States of Africa. And anybody who is not talking about that, they're useless. Forget them, because they're not talking about global power for black people.
Yeah.
Chakabars, man. Chakabars. How can people find out more? What platforms should they go to? How can they invest? How can they be a part of this? What can they do?
So I have a 501c3. I didn't come here to ask for money, but I have a 501c3. So people, whoever is about to do their taxes next year, hit me up, because I can give you a tax receipt. Give me the money and I'll go and do some good stuff with it, rather than paying taxes that are going to pay for bombs to blow up little kids, right? Or pay for all of the stuff that we know that happens. There's no need to do that when there is a system of CSR and there is a system of charity that can be done. But at the same time, I think I'm not the big I am. I know that I'm a piece in this human story. And I will come back from Congo. I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I will come back from Congo, and I will come back to you with more information as to how people can get involved. You can follow me on Instagram. Follow my charity. It's called I Heart Africa. We're about to drop an NFT. And if you look like on my T-shirt,
I like the T-shirt too.
This is Cuba art, and this Cuba art is the reason why Versace, Gucci, and all of the Louis V exist. This is Cuba Kivuan Congolese art, right, with the geometric shapes. And this is actually one of the children that we look after. Wow. So it's the children that are going to be leading the way in that. We are trying our very best to try and build as many houses as possible. We built 24 homes. We want to build 100 homes in total. But I think actually, if anybody is out there watching this and thinks, oh, how can I get involved? Hit me up. I'm available. And the revolution needs funding. And we need to build our own schools that make our children know what's really up, and then allow them to run the world. Because until black women and until black African children are able to take control of the leadership of the world again, the world is going to go off a cliff. Ever since the different groups of people have got leadership of the world, there's been no ethicality, there's been no ecology, they don't care about the nature, there's been no sustainability, there's been none of that. And so we want to raise the next generation of children. That's why we take care of children, because we want these children to lead the world as they should.
Chakabars, love you, brother. Love the mission you on. I love the work you do. Y'all follow him at Chakabars, Chakabars. We have more conversations to have.
Yes, indeed.
We can have them up here. You dropped that, that artwork. Yeah, a lot of the biggest brands in the world pretty much stole their designs from Africa.
And still do it.
Yeah.
It's never stopped. The thing is like, the interesting thing about what people think about slavery and colonialism, they think it's like some old thing.
Right.
Neo-colonialism is happening right now in Africa, and is the reason why Africans are not able to be the wealthiest people in the world. And as soon as we start to organize our resources, I hope you're going to come to the Black Star Lion festival in Jamaica in January.
I'm a part of it now. So
all right.
Yeah.
Good.
I hope so too.
I will be organizing the Pan-African stuff.
Okay.
Like I did the conference in Ghana. I'll be organizing that stuff. And we just need to start moving together. All of these entertainers, all of these basketball players, all of these business people who are all trying to carve out their piece of the American corona, the same for the people in Europe who are black, the same for the people in Brazil who are black. We need to start working together like Malcolm X was trying to establish the Organization of Afro-American Unity. There needs to be that, because if you're the government of Nigeria or you're the government of Niger, right, who do you hit up when you say, hey, I want to speak to black Americans? Do you hit up? Which group do you hit up? Is there an organization that everybody is underneath, right? Everybody's trying to work so hard to get reparations, which is honorable, and I hope that the people get the reparations. But while all of that is going on, we can just like own and run mines in Africa, building with indigenous people and making sure that they are getting money and we are getting money, and we don't need to beg for if all right, I'm gonna finish with one of my most one of the quotes that I draw the most inspiration from is by an author called Frantz Fanon. And Frantz Fanon was a psychologist and an author who wrote a book called The Wretched of the Earth. The Wretched of the Earth was turned into a movie called Concerning Violence, which Auntie Lauryn Hill narrated. A very good movie. If you're not interested in reading books, just watch Concerning Violence, because it looks at what the decolonization process of Africa was. And what he says is that the benefits of power become obsolete if you have to ask. And that is what we're doing again and again. Hands up, don't shoot, please don't kill us, right? I saw that Montgomery,
Alabama.
I saw that. That's what we need to do. And as like Malcolm said, is that we need to stop singing and start swinging.
Okay.
Because we are the fiercest warriors on the earth. And I think we need to stop asking, and we just need to start taking.
Chakabars, man, I want to thank you for coming today. I appreciate you, brother. I didn't know this turned into something really divine, and I hope folks really enjoyed this conversation. We're going to post it on Sway's Universe on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see it on his platforms as well, as Chakabars, Chakabars. Thank you for my gifts.
Every time.
And thank you for gifting us with your presence.
Let me come back when I come back.
Absolutely. Come on back, man. We got some stuff to do. All right?
Bless.
Okay? You drop bars in a different way.
And I just want to say this for everybody out there watching. Sway has the answers.
Oh, wow. Damn, man.
Sway has the answers.
That went all the way over to Ghana, right?
Sway has the answers. I have some answers too, but Sway has the answers. So listen to Sway.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, okay?